Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, here with Star Nations Radio Network, being broadcast through BeLive TV and Facebook. So hi guys, I'm glad to see you in the house. Welcome Rob, nice to have you. Good morning, Christine. Glad to have you guys in the house. This is, this new day. And as part of it, we're going to be talking about detoxing our energy body. So I'm excited because that is a big piece. Oh, hello. Let's see. I see a few more people in the house. Good morning, Karen. Happy Tuesday to you. Good morning, Bobby. Love and kisses your way. Now she's in the house. Perfect timing. So she's always a reminder for me to ask you to help us get the word out. So to do that, if you could like and share this broadcast, it'll help it get out there in Facebook land, and maybe it'll reach somebody who's in need of the information that's getting shared today. And boy, oh boy, I don't know about you guys, but here in Massachusetts, we keep having this crazy weather. It'll be warm, and then it'll be, we've had a lot of rain. And then last night it was super cold again. And, up in the Berkshires, up in the mountains, they may have even gotten more of the S word, and here it is May. So I'm hoping you guys are having, more consistent spring weather than we are. And I just got back from a journey to Maine. I go every so often to recalibrate, to recharge my battery. So I was up there for a few days, and they're actually behind us. So like some of the spring flowers there haven't really started blooming yet, like the forsythia hasn't even come out there yet, which always makes for an interesting allergy season for me if I'm going back and forth, because I have a lot of those spring allergies. Evening. I love that. Vicky, evening from the UK. Yes, my evening. I hope your health is continuing to improve. It is. It's slow but steady. It is one of those things that I didn't realize like how long ago my health was starting to have difficulties. I thought maybe in February. I'm thinking more like even May, January or December. I was already having some. So yeah, Rob is saying S word in May. What are you in Wyoming? I know, right? I just kept saying, no, it's not possible. But here I'm at the base of what we call the hill towns. And so the Berkshires have a slightly higher elevation, and the snow, when there's snow, it increases exponentially as you travel, like literally up the road. And we were at 41. So we didn't get close enough, but I don't know. I heard through the grapevine they might hit the right number we just had a lot of rain. And Maria, who is in New Hampshire, yes, definitely. Of course we mean snow, right? But boy, this time of year it gets to be, we're not supposed to be having it. So it turns a little bit into a swear word if you have to face it. But all of this is cleansing. The energy on the earth is trying to cleanse. And because we're connected and we're on it, we're going through the cleansing process too. So, I want to share. Sorry, I'm still a little discombobulated. So here's how you can support our live streams and dive into the topics by getting a copy of the magazine, a subscription, because we all dive deeper into what we discuss as our topic or topics. And for me, generally, my articles are, at least the last half a dozen for sure, have all been channeled by the Ancient One. This last one for me was not so much. It was because I wasn't feeling good. So we used some information from one of my channeled shows. So in a way, it was channeled, but that was the best way for us to do that. Yes, Rob is saying snow is determined by the temperature in the upper atmosphere. Well, they're closer to the upper atmosphere than we are, so maybe that's part of that. So, getting back on topic, if I can, there's a whole bunch of stuff, comments that Neshi put in. I'm trying to make sure that I'm back on the feed. There we go. So here we are. We are in, a time period where we may have stuck energy, and if we have stuck energy in our body, it shows up in different ways. And, we use elemental energy to clear with, and we use our chakra energy to clear with in our physical body. And, the rain, the snow, whatever precipitation decides to fall from the sky, that's helping cleanse Mother Earth, and we may not like it when she cleanses by fire, but fire will cleanse as well. And so will, the wind blowing through the air. And that happens within us, and sometimes we know that to let go of a toxic relationship, sometimes we go into fire mode, and we do that kind of, blowing up thing, or saying all those things that we meant to say and never did all at once, and kind of blow the other person out of the water, or they blow us out. But all of this is energy that is asking, sort of begging to be released. And, when we cry and when we grieve, we're allowing those spaces that feel empty to cleanse and purify, to make room for new, beautiful things to come in. And this is really a difficult time for, a lot of people. There's a lot of, movement that's happening. There are people who are passing. There are people who are losing their jobs or changing their jobs. And there's a lot of change energy that's happening this spring. And for a lot of people, that can be very stressful. So it's pretty cute that Neshi's sharing that my column is calming the waters of stress. Because stress just gets us. And stress really sits in our fire center. It really can cause our fire element to go bananas. That's in our third chakra, right below our rib cage. And when that is burning brightly, our organs really take a hit. Our liver starts working too hard. Our pancreas starts working too hard. Our kidneys and our gallbladder. I always have to remember gallbladder because I don't have one anymore. And even our stomach. And so this is a time when people have a lot of stomach issues coming up. So, it can burn out of control. And when there's too much in there, well, it's got to go somewhere. And so when we don't take care of things, they show up in all sorts of ways. So we hold on to energy in our energy body in the physical sense, in our organs, our bones, our tissues. And when we have pain in any of those places, we're well aware of it. And then we start to take action on it. In the layer beyond the physical, it's our emotional layer. And that's when we get really upset. We get really angry. We get really sad. We get really numb. Any of those are indications that, there's energy in our body that's trying to move. So take the good or bad off of that and know that if emotions need to be expressed, express them, because then it doesn't have to turn into a physical ailment within your body, because boy, those are tough to eradicate once they get settled in there. And then the layer beyond the emotional, we may have some beliefs or mental patterns, or we have spinning thoughts that are keeping us stuck, keeping us from sleeping, keeping us from being productive. And that makes it really difficult as well, because that can then take a toll on our emotional body, which then impacts our physical health. I think you guys get the point of it. So Tina's saying PTSD, number one for me, never goes away. That can be true, but I invite you to think of the possibility that it can. Because I'm sitting here as a witness or an example that it can disappear if you do the energetic work to release it, because it's a triggered pattern, and the triggered patterns can be rewired in the brain with energy work. Some people can also do that through craniosacral work, because I've known a few people have had success with that as well. But things that caused me a lot of trauma as a child, I can talk about pretty openly, pretty freely, and I no longer get thrown into that despair, frozen state. Not that I don't get stuck. I do not want to imply that. But it's really rare for me to get put into a state where I'm having the nightmares anymore, or if somebody talks about trauma that's similar to mine, I don't feel that anymore. But oh yes, the emotionally charged people around me, that's part of being an empath, right? And one of the things that I teach at my school is we teach a lot about it in the second year, which is sort of differentiation. And when we are able to separate our energy from somebody else's, then we don't necessarily have to get impacted by somebody else's feelings. Now, granted, it depends on how much resilience we have, because I can have a situation where, say, my husband gets upset about something. It doesn't have to put me in fear mode of, my safety or my security the way it used to. But I do know if he's in that state of energy for a long period of time, my resilience starts to kind of weaken. Does that make sense? Because he's so close to me. Now, other people around me, they can get agitated and they can be in that state. I just check in with my intuition about my truth. Is it really true that I'm not safe in this moment? Because there are definitely times, so I love the fact. All right. So Rob's saying, good thing I'm not emotionally charged. Right. Yeah, you're not emotionally charged at all, Rob. None of us are, right? And then Tina says, I stay away from people, but it still happens. Of course it does. Because if we have to learn from it, it'll come home to us, whether we want it to or not. So avoiding, it doesn't work very well. Because then you grow it at home. I'd rather face it in outside people than in my sacred space. But, you got to work on it when you're meant to work on it. So part of this is that, all these emotionally charged people, which includes ourselves, it's because we have energy that's in there that's kind of percolating. And as it's percolating, it's creating this sort of like concentrated energy. My kids used to watch this show called Dragon Ball Z. And for me, it has the best graphic because for them to, have enough power, they gather their energy into their center. And as the energy comes to their center, then they're able to like explode it outwards and direct it in the way they want to. And that's the thing. When we are holding on to excess energy, if we know we are, we can gather it together and we can release it into the earth or into the divine in a cleansing way. But if we are not managing our own energy and our own energy field, well, then we are sort of spewing energy on other people. I think of it as, energetic diarrhea or energetic vomit. It's just sort of going, I know it's a little graphic, but it's just exploding all over the place. And then we've got a mess to clean up. And so when we do our own detoxification, people understand when they don't feel well and they should do a cleanse. There's a fabulous cleanse that's been since January in Star Nations magazine about the liver, because that holds a lot of our anger. And I can't imagine anyone in the chat room needing to cleanse that energy of anger, because nobody ever holds on to anger, right? But when we are proactive in our own energy maintenance, then we can start to shift what has always been. So just because we've always reacted this way does not mean we have to. And we can choose to do things in a different way. And, there are times when we just really need to become self-aware, because, I have a lot of clients who are energetically draining for me if I am not protecting myself fully. And if I am not releasing cords with the client the minute we're done with our session, if I'm not allowing really tight time boundaries on our session or on our interactions outside of session, then it can be an energy drain. If they're texting me 15 times, they're draining my energy because that's time that is, I'm not getting paid for. It's one thing if it's a close friend, but if they need that much guidance, well, then they need a session, right? Does that make sense? So that can be me giving my energy away, and that other person is sort of taking energy to replace what they need. And so for us to really be managing our health, it means we need to know when to let energy go, basically every day. And when we're saturated and need to take a time out. And that's when you pull away from people for a little bit. Tina, that's when you're like, I need to take a walk or I need to sit out in nature, because otherwise this energy that's boiled to the surface, it's going to end up all over you. So I saw a number of, oh my goodness, a number of comments. So I'm going to peek at those. My computer is going a little wacko because I haven't touched it in a few days while I was gone. I purposely didn't take it with me. Hi, Cindy Lynn. And so Tina's saying my husband is a really calm person. Thank goodness. Yes. A calm person is someone who has a pretty good management of their own energy field. But even calm people can get pulled out. There's I'm not going to remember the name, There's a book that I read about a woman who's a Buddhist monk. And I think that's correct. But they're talking about the fact, the book's called Anger, that even if you live in a monastery, there are things that are going to make you angry. And that it's whether you manage your anger or whether your anger manages you. And managing your anger doesn't mean stuffing it down and not feeling it. It means saying, welcome, old friend. Here you are again. And what do we do to help you release? Does that make sense? So Cindy Lynn's saying Dragon Ball Z and the Avatar. Oh, the Last Airbender has the most fabulous description of chakras that I've ever seen. I make my students watch that YouTube video before they come to class, which may sound strange, but it's fabulous. Thanks for remember that. And Cindy Lynn hates when people spew their energy everywhere. So Marie is asking, I have a beloved sister who drains my energy just like you're describing. Sometimes I forget to protect myself. We really have difficulty protecting ourselves with family in particular. We forget because they're close to us, but they're the ones who can influence our energy the most. And so she's asking a great question. How do you protect yourself in different ways? So, and this does talk about detoxifying our energy, because if we protect it better, shield ourselves better to begin with, we have less detoxing that we have to do. So there are a number of different ways. One of the ways is to create a bubble of infinite love and infinite light around you. You ask the divine and your spiritual team to create that for you. And when I do that to deal with people, I also ask for it to be a reflective surface, so that the reflection shines back to the person what they are shining at me. And so that literally my outer field becomes a mirror for them. And when I do that, I notice that people might have a habit of usually sort of spewing on me, but when they sort of can see that possibility with me, then they don't do it. It works less well for me when I'm dealing with somebody on the phone than in person. I tend to shield up that way if I'm going in like an airport or a hospital or at the mall. It also tends to give my personal bubble a little more space so that people aren't standing so close to me. The other way that I use protection, a couple ways. I do have psychic protection oil, and my team just upgraded it because it was working really well on third dimensional energy and was so on fourth dimensional energy. So now it's working on both really well. And so that's something that can be applied every day as part of your morning ritual. And people who work in stressful jobs, I encourage them to take that with them. And the other one that can protect you as well is called anti-bully. And the anti-bully actually kind of holds your energy field. And if somebody like tries to push at you, it gently matches the vibration. So it's not that it shoves energy back at them, but you're more like a rubber band. So as it pushes at you, it pushes back a little bit. And that actually works really well. That comes, I have people who buy that in the spray, in the roll-on, they put it in their diffuser because that one just really helps keep this nice barrier of energy. And it also keeps you from having negative self-talk. It keeps us from bullying ourselves too. So it's really, really well to work with that. And, of course, I use, crystals in particular. Of course, I love hematite for grounding because it grounds any energy that's coming our way. And then I also really like larvakite, which is sometimes called black moonstone, because that repels negative energy. So I often carry those in my purse when I'm going. And of course, in addition, I will call in, my spiritual team. I'll call in different archangels. And, Michael's a go-to. You can always call in Michael as a protector. But it depends on the situation for me. I don't always call him in because you don't always need, you don't always need the sword in hand. Sometimes you need a gentle approach. I have also been using Nathaniel, Archangel Nathaniel, that Maureen Mann, who does the monthly show here on Star Nations. She just did a fabulous class and a piece on Archangel Nathaniel and working with him. And I've actually found that to be calmer on my energy field. Rob's teasing me, not Akira. And Maria says she uses Archangel Michael. Yep. And people use Archangel Michael spray on a lot of things. Yes. That's Cindy Lynn. Yes. Yes. And Maria is saying oils are a wonderful tool. Yes. Yeah, I have different sprays. I have Archangel Michael as a blend as well. I have Metatron, Gabriel, Raphael. Some people even use the goddesses. A little Isis can be pretty protective. So it sort of depends on, like I said, it depends on what kind of energy you want. When I'm doing like the big expos and I need to have big energy, Archangel Metatron is my guy. He grounds me, he protects me, and he's really good at having my back. I also work with Archangel Emmanuel, which a lot of people don't know about, but he works multidimensionally. So there are times with my work where Archangel Michael says he needs backup, and when he needs backup, it's Emmanuel that I call in. So that's just, there's a lot of big guns out there. You can call them in for protection as well. But sometimes it feels really nice for us to be proactive. I feel, my team has been really clear on, I have an active Merkaba. It's worth, learning how to use that and achieve that if you haven't. So that helps to a degree. And when you have a Merkaba, then it's like when energy gets through, then you're like, it's to teach you a lesson. I know that any energy that gets through to me is here to teach me. So I don't necessarily think of it as bad. I do get a little overwhelmed when there's a lot of it, but that's part of the detoxing that we need to do. So what happens when we've gotten inundated with energy? Even if the best protection, is not 100%. Thank you, Stephanie, for posting all the extra info for us, all of the links to the websites and all of that. So all of that is really good. And yes, of course, you can ask the different angels. And we all have our own angels that we work really well with, that are part of our life purpose. And we can call on all of them. But what happens once the energy gets inside of our physical body, we know to detox it, but we don't always see the steps from our spiritual, the mental thought process, the emotional, before it gets to the physical. And once it gets physical, we're going to the doctors, right? Or, we're consulting people because we're having pain or we're having illness. And if we had been working on some of our, detoxing our energy in the emotional and the mental and the spiritual realm, we might not have had to have the physical symptoms, if that makes sense to you guys. So this is like, okay, it's here. We all have energy we picked up from other people. We have, stuff's leaked in, it's just how things happen. And then there's some of us who is part of our soul's mission to help clean and clear the energy on the planet. So first thing I'm asking energetically is this mine? Is this energy that I'm feeling or experiencing or thought that's spinning, is it mine? Because most people are not aware that they're caught up in somebody else's energy. And yet it happens to us all the time. I deal with clients all the time who got caught in somebody else's energy, and I go to help them clear. And it's like, dude, you got like 6 other people messing around in your brain right now, how about if we just get to your thoughts and get everybody else out of there, get the peanut gallery out of there so that it's just you. And we don't know it, and sometimes there are times when, you need your team. You need your healer, you need your, massage therapist, you need your chiropractor, your acupuncturist, you need, your therapist, you need your go-to friends that you don't just dump on, right? You're able to talk to, but they're able to talk to you. If you are not having an equal exchange of holding space for each other, then that's not, you don't want to be the one spewing your energy on somebody else to make you feel better. And then next thing you know, you left that other person feeling like they've been covered in junk and can't even move, because then beautiful women like Tina go hide in their house, right? Because they don't want to get spewed on. And they may not know how to keep that from happening, right? Because you're the person everybody loves to talk to or wants to talk to, and you're always there for them. But then when you're in need, how many of them go scurrying, right? And we all have moments when we learn this lesson, and unfortunately, it's usually when we have that. But how about if we start maintaining our energy health? We get it that we should eat right and that we should exercise and do things to take care of our physical health, but we're not always maintaining our energetic health, So I saw a few more comments. A lot of people are saying, Rob's saying how timely it is. Neshi's saying, just love this show info. And Maria's saying, thankful for the topic today. She needed to hear it. And then Rob saying, treating others like a toilet. Yes, yes. And we've all been treated like the toilet. And we all have probably done it, right? I mean, because the reality is, sometimes you just need to vent. And we don't always ask permission to vent. We just start to do it. So if we start to take care of our energetic health, we get to the point where things don't have to reach a breaking point for us to do something about it. If we're taking care of our energetic body every single day, then there's less cleanup crew that needs to happen. And we have a higher level of awareness when our energy has shifted, when it's gotten funky. But I'll tell you, if you're under a lot of stress at your job or in your family, that extra energy can sneak in under that stress and you don't even notice. And then the next thing you know, you have to be physically sick for you to stop and take care of your energy body. I hope that makes sense. So how do we detox it? Well, first of all, go to the magazine and do the liver cleanse if you want to start to cleanse the anger that you may be holding onto in your physical body. Seems like a good starting point for some people, right? Because it's something proactive and we can feel our body shifting and changing when we do a detoxing cleanse. And you can do other cleanses as well, but this is one that, is relatively gentle and can help you move through certain energy. And if you've ever had trouble with alcohol, drugs, sugar, or carbohydrates, then the liver cleanse is a really good one. And we use all of those elements to stuff anger. It's just how that goes. And, when our liver can't hold it anymore, it spreads to other organs or it spreads into our back. So things like fibromyalgia show up because we need that energy released. And it starts to show up in that very physical way. So one of the things you can do, which you see all the time, but it is make sure that your energy is grounded and ask that as you are grounded, that any energy that is not yours and any energy that you do not need any longer be released just by being grounded. Any energy that's not mine, thank you. Please send it back to the earth for composting so it can be turned back into beautiful creation energy. Then you can, ask that any energy that you no longer serves you, that is no longer for your highest best, that be released. And this can just be a conscious awareness. And then, those of you who come here and you do this show and Wednesday's show, you can set the intention that you're cleansing and clearing your energy body. And at least then you're doing it once or twice a week. And that's really helpful. And, you can ask when you are taking a shower that the excess energy that you don't need or that is not yours be released down the drain. And Epsom salts are beautiful for releasing that. And, we can cleanse our physical body by drinking lots of water. And you can ask Neshi, I'm terrible at drinking enough water. And I'm working really hard. My physical team who works with me here is very much trying to help me work on that. But for you to stay hydrated, you need to be drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water. Who drinks that much water? And sometimes people do. But that at least is keeping some flow moving through you. And it's also helping your organs not have to work as hard. So it's keeping anything that wants to settle into the physical realm out. And using lemon or lime in the water will help the liver really do it more gently because it has to work really hard, Now, emotionally, what do we do when we need to release emotions? Well, do the thing that helps. If you need to release them, then do. Let yourself cry. Let yourself get angry. I'm a big fan of putting on a sappy movie and allowing, when I've got grief or sadness or disappointment, something like that, that's sitting heavy on my heart, I'm the first one to turn on the Hallmark Channel and just watch some sappy, movie because number one, it'll have this heartstring part, and then it always ends happy, and using music, singing and dancing and just listening to it can help allow the emotions to flow. And I'll tell you that works really well for anger as well. So yes, so Neshi's saying, yes, I really wasn't aware I wasn't taking in enough water. Yeah, I really, I'm trying to set a timer these days of like, you need to drink this much. I've got a new app on my phone for it to try to help out, and Rob's saying, I'm a big guy and that's still less than a gallon, well, half your body weight, if you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water. If you're 200 pounds, it's 100 ounces of water. And, that can seem daunting, but, not if you do 10 ounces every, on an hour. Rob says, put on the Champ, the John Voight and Ricky Schroeder version. And Cindy Lynn is saying, same big issue for me, the water. Well, Christine, my mom is too. She's a big water drinker, and that's the one thing she's managed. So water may not be the thing. Exercise may be the thing. Those are all the physical aspects. But, our sad energy has a lot of water that needs to be released. If we're drinking water, then some of it can kind of like get peed out, but when it's ready to come up, it's just helpful to let it go. And it sounds easier than it is, but it's allowing the sadness to come up, allowing yourself a good, messy, snotty cry, lots of Kleenex. It's good. It's healing for your soul. Releasing that anger, still really good for your soul. And sometimes, you can put on that angry music or that loud music or whatever it is that just stirs that for you and allows that kind of to bubble up, and you can sing it out and you can yell it out. Like for me, one of my anger songs is Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Because it's empowering for me. It's like, yeah, I'm pissed at you and you can, have this energy with me, but I'm going to get back up and I'm here, I'm staying here and I'm going to get back. It really helps me to move forward. Now, my husband has a much different anger playlist. I can't even listen to his stuff. But for him, that and like pounding something, a lot of people like to use a bat, but I will tell you, do not use a wood bat on a wood surface because that's just, you're going to end up hurting your body. But, using a pillow or just making the punching, noise as you're punching, the ha, ha, it really gets the fire releasing. Think of the dragon's breath, right? And if it's sitting in your stomach, it's going to eat away at it. It's going to be an ulcer. It's going to be, stomach flu. It's going to be whatever. But all of that energy needs releasing. And if it's emotional, we certainly don't want it to settle into our physical body. And then if it's spinning thoughts, the woulda, coulda, shouldas that create anxiety or overwhelm, those are pulling us out of the present moment as well. And all this old energy that's stuck in there, it's not here now. And because of that, what we're feeling in the moment gets this rocket boost of energy underneath it, pushing through. So we're overreacting. How many times have people said, well, geez, you seem like you're overreacting? And then what does that do? Does that make you feel better or does that make you get even more angry, right? And that's because there's old anger energy beneath what's being said that is getting delivered with more force. You know, Rob said a good example. Martial art bags are good. They are great for this. Punching and kicking really does expends energy because you're doing something. Any cardio workout can actually do this. I actually learned a really cool practice from Sonia Choquette, and she calls it the breath of life. And there's one particular song where you go, ha, ha, like push air out, and you use your arms and your hands and your body, and you're running around while you're doing it, and you're blowing air out. It's like a 3 or 4 minute song. And then after that, you sing something really loudly. And she likes to use I Can See Clearly Now. And so you're singing at the top of your lungs after you've just done all this like running around and cardio breath work. And then after you sing, because you're opening all this energy up, then you end by doing a quiet meditation to ground all the energy that you expelled and to reconnect you to spirit and your spiritual team. And I think that is such a lovely practice, and it's not that hard to do. So we've gotten a little past time, so we're going to do a quick detoxing meditation. Hope you guys have enjoyed the information. Feels like a lot came through. So you're going to hear me make clearing noises for those of you who haven't watched my show before. They're going to sound like burps or squawks. So let's just take a couple of really deep breaths. And as you're taking these deep breaths, I want you to feel the air all the way down into your belly. Let's take one more for good measure. And we're once again setting the intention that this healing is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we invite in our spiritual teams to guide us and protect us and surround us in infinite love and infinite light so that we can feel safe and connected to the possibility of releasing what no longer serves us. And I really invite the energy at the bottom of your feet, those foot chakras that go in the arch of the foot and the top, to really expand and open so that energy can flow directly down and out quickly and easily. And with each breath, and we're going to start with our root chakra, and we're going to take any energy that is stuck around our family, our finances, our job, our house, and not only our past experiences, but our beliefs about money, our beliefs about family, anything that no longer matches who we truly are. And just invite that energy to begin to dissolve and flow down our legs and our grounding cord into the earth. cleansing our foundation that we stand on to walk forward in our lives. And moving into our second chakra, right below the belly button. And releasing any emotions that we've held on to here. Anything that keeps our water energy from flowing fully within our body. Any relationships with sex, money, or power that have been toxic within us, within others that we were in relationship with. Really allowing that to just flow down our body, down our legs into the ground. Dredging the waters for clearer and cleaner water to nurture us, to be felt and expressed by us. And moving up into the third chakra, just below the rib cage. And really releasing any energy that has fear attached to it. And all the emotions that we connect to fear. Our judgment, our resentment, our anger, our frustration, our anxiety, our overwhelm. Even states of panic or self-judgment. Yeah. And any energy that our inner critic uses to spin our thoughts or our ideas or beliefs about ourselves. And even things like fear of success or fear of failure that we may hold and attach to our self-worth, our self-esteem. And any energy that feels heavy, that depresses our energy system, collapses who we are. Filling our victim with unconditional love and support. Letting them know they're safe and secure in this moment. And moving up into the heart. And allowing the air energy to flow through our lungs and our bloodstream. Releasing any sadness or grief, disappointment and frustration we may be holding. And any old energy of shame or blame. Any space for us to breathe more fully into the fullness of our life. Returning the joy and love. to all the spaces in between. And allowing your energy to really fill with that unconditional love. And you can visualize Mother Mary flowing energy to you, or Kuan Yin, Archangel Raphael. There's an energy that feels like pure love to you, just allowing that to fill in your heart, reminding you that you are love. And moving up into your throat and expanding your ability to express all that you are feeling, thinking, and believing. And making space for you to simply express you in all the wonderful, unique ways that you're meant to. All the ways that you create you on a daily basis. Taking out any energy that is attached to another's views of who you should be or how you should be. Releasing that burden and commitment from your shoulders and your neck. And allowing Archangel Gabriel to really help you find the true tone, vibration, and frequency that is you. And opening you to feeling able to express that openly, lovingly, and share that with others. And moving up into the sixth chakra, the third eye in your forehead. And just really releasing any energy that is blocking you from having clarity in your thoughts, ideas, and visions. Any energy that is blocking your intuition or any of your five senses. Any pathways or energy ways where communication is blocked with your spiritual team. In any ways where you've had difficulty feeling seen and heard. And opening, expanding your ability to see and hear others fully as well. And finally, moving up to the crown and releasing any doubt, energy that you may be holding on to. Any energy where trust has been difficult. And any last residue of energy that has allowed you to feel like less than or not enough. And now just taking a moment to ask the divine energy to come down and fill in all those spaces. So starting at the crown and allowing the energy to flow downward, back down to the ground, through your crown and your third eye, down through your throat, over your shoulders, your neck, down into your heart, your lungs, filling your rib cage, your spinal cord, all of your organs, your digestive tract, your lower back, your hips, your pelvis, the whole pelvic floor, your legs, the thighs, knees, calves, all the way down through your feet. And take a couple of deep breaths. And just take a moment to feel the fullness of your energy after having a detoxing energy bath. You can take a moment of gratitude with your spiritual team for being here with you, guiding you. You can begin to stretch and yawn, whatever you need. I know I'm at my time, so thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed that. It's really important for us to manage our energy health. There's a lot of energy being stirred up on the planet, and so sometimes just walking on the earth means we're going to absorb some. So finding a way to detox your energy body on a regular basis, and for me, it's a daily, I am trying. I don't want to say I do all the time. Weekends can be hard, but really take some time to do this kind of practice for yourself as regularly as you can manage, because it will help so much for you, and it'll give you a lot more clarity to help you take care of you, and to remember that we're not here alone. So really, remember that we all need our own spiritual team to help us get through things, because we don't always have clarity to see what's really happening and to get a good vision of how to help ourselves. So with that, you guys, I will see you tomorrow night on Soul Connections at 7 o'clock. And I will be doing the healing meditation as well as the divine card drawings. And I'll be playing the card drawings by ear. I'm still recovering. So, if Neshi gives me the "you're done" signal, I will be done. Or if I feel like my energy is depleting, then I will be stopping early, because I want to make sure that I want to share with all of you, but I don't want to give my energy away. It's part of that whole learning to manage our own energy and when we need to take it easy. So with that, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Don't forget that Neshi's card draw, the live card draw, is at 3 today. And tonight at 8, she's going to be chatting about our lovely magazine and what's coming up in it, what's in the new issue. So it's always fun to check in with that. And with that, you guys, have a blessed day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.